everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Globe Talks with Traders series, where you can learn the ins and outs of crypto trading. Today, I'm delighted to welcome onto the show Benjamin Roth, co-founder and chief investments officer at Auros. So, watch on to find out about the core business lines of Auros and Ben's thoughts on the current market pulse. Now, on to the interview. Okay, so hi Benjamin, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, can you tell us a bit about your background and your journey into the crypto industry and kind of what drove you to co-found Auros?
Yeah, sure. So I started my career as an equity derivatives trader at a company called Optiva, where I worked for a variety of trading desks in Sydney and Chicago. I was there for 7 years and then moved to kind of a smaller competitor called Eclipse Options in Hong Kong around the time of the GFC in 2008. That was founded by some of my ex-colleagues at Optiva, and we ran a variety of kind of similar high frequency, medium frequency trading strategies. It was a smaller business, and it was kind of mainly focused on the Asian time zone. Prior to joining crypto, in between when I left there and joining crypto, I worked in New York City for a hedge fund where I managed a relative value equity derivatives book covering the entire S&P 500. So more or less my first kind of 14, 15 years of being a professional, I was an options trader predominantly. I joined crypto in 2017 at a firm called Kinetic Capital. Some people may have heard of them. So it was a crypto financial services firm engaged in advisory, venture, asset management, proprietary trading, market making, kind of like a full suite of products and offerings. I was there for a little over a year, and then founded Auros in January of 2019 with my two co-founders, Brendan and David, to focus exclusively on crypto high frequency trading and market making. We started with 7 people in January 2019, and the firm has since kind of grown to about 65 today.
Amazing, thank you. So what are the main business lines and the trading strategies at Auros?
So before getting into that, I'll talk about the structure of the firm just to give it a little more context. So it's kind of similar to a lot of HFT and market making firms where circa 50% of the team across the globe are engineers. Many of them have come from some of the biggest prop trading firms and hedge funds. Some of them we've worked with previously in our time at other proprietary trading firms. So that's about half the company, and they're spread everywhere. A lot of them work remotely. They're not in the main offices in New York or Hong Kong. They kind of work remotely in everywhere from Auckland all the way around the globe to Chicago. So we kind of cover most time zones. 25%, I'd say about a quarter of the firm are what we call traders, but they're probably different to what a lot of people think of as traders. I'd say they're a hybrid of quant, trader, and developer. So everybody on the team can code in some way, shape, or form. Some people are developers by trade and they become traders. Others are kind of traders, but quantitative traders that know how to code things up. At least certainly they can code up some prototypes. So that's about a quarter of the firm. Most of those people work either in Hong Kong or New York in our major offices, and the other 25% of the firm are kind of split between business development, middle office, finance, legal, HR, and management, myself included. From a trading perspective, we have maybe 6 major business lines. Number one, HFT and arbitrage, which was like the core of the firm. That's what kind of transacts in the billions of dollars a day across all the major exchanges. I'd say that's the beating heart of our company. Number 2, StatArb, which is I'd say a cross between medium frequency and high frequency. So definitely leaning on the execution capabilities that we've built over the years, but using some forecasting tools and some data analysis to find alpha in the market as well. So at a slightly lower frequency than our HFT business. Number 3 is options and volatility trading. So we've got our DNA is from companies like Two Sigma, Optiva, Susquehanna. So I was an options trader for 15 years. My co-founders were in the options business as well, and a lot of our staff. So we've definitely got that DNA, and that's a core kind of and growing part of our business. The fourth area is DeFi, and it's very broad what we do, probably beyond the scope of this conversation, but we attack kind of everything in the DeFi space. There's new stuff coming kind of every week, so that's a very dynamic part of the business. Fifth area is investments. So maybe 12 to 18 months ago, we started investing in the ecosystem as like an early. And when I say investments, I mean not just capital, but we invest our expertise as well, and we'll talk about that later in the interview. So that'd be the fifth area. Again, that's quite broad. And the sixth area is strategic market making, which is partnering with token projects and providing liquidity in a whole host of ways across a variety of different areas. Within each kind of broad category, we've got like a number of different strategies. So that's kind of the 6 areas that we attack. And for example, within StatArb, there's like half a dozen different strategies that are looking at a variety of different things managed by like 3 or 4 traders in that team. Overall, it's a pretty competitive space, like algorithmic and HFT trading. So one has to continuously improve in order to maintain an edge. So a lot of what we do is not just building new strategies, it's kind of tweaking and refining the stuff that we already do. In terms of like specific strategies, I won't go into too much detail for obvious reasons, but a few of the general kind of things that we do are like cross-exchange arb, basis trading, statistical arbitrage, correlation, options market making, DeFi, CeFi arbitrage. On the client-facing side, where we're really active working with new projects, we provide introductions to exchanges, general advisory in areas where we have domain expertise, such as structured products, low latency execution, DeFi derivatives, and kind of borrowing and lending structuring on the DeFi side.
Oh,
so that's
amazing.
a fairly broad mix.
Actually, let's focus a bit on your high frequency trading. Typically high HFT firms are quite secretive and private. So what led to Auros being, quite externally facing?
Yeah, this is probably a fairly recent change for us. Like for a long time, we were extremely secretive and insular. We were focused on building the best technology in the business, in the industry. Like that was kind of our goal, to be the leading HFT firm. We feel we're kind of part of the way there. You're never kind of quote unquote there, because as soon as you stop, other people will just run past you in this kind of domain. But we're certainly up there, and so a little over 12 months ago, we started, as I mentioned, we started to invest more heavily into kind of early stage projects, and then as a result, we got far more involved in the community and into, I guess, the crypto industry. Previously, as I said, we were very insular. We were focused on just building our own technology, and as part of our investments kind of growth, we learned a lot about what was going on outside of our business, and we were incredibly disappointed with the market making service offerings and performance from some of the incumbents in the space. We realized it was like a hugely underserved market, and we were kind of perfectly positioned to address that lack of quality, because we felt we had built kind of a best in class technology platform here. So in the time since then, I'd say mid last year, we started. In the time since then, we built out a full business development and partnerships function within Auros. We're continually hiring into this team from a variety of backgrounds, such as TradFi, marketing, branding, crypto enthusiasts, kind of DeFi developers who want to get into like the branding, marketing, business development side. This year alone, we've already partnered with dozens of token projects, ranging from some mature layer 1 blockchains all the way to pre-seed projects with nothing more than a white paper and a whole lot of ambition. Our engineering and HFT heritage kind of allows us to create, we've created a best-in-class HFT trading platform over the last 4 years. So it's kind of feels like a natural extension for us to leverage all of that capability into a market-leading liquidity offering for our partners. And as I mentioned, we felt it was an underserved market. We still feel it's an underserved market. So far, feedback's been great. We've built a growing reputation as kind of what we think is the best market maker in the industry, and we want to keep winning business and keep educating projects and partners on what kind of good liquidity looks like, and that's kind of been the driving force for building this externally facing business.
Amazing, thank you. So you're talking about good liquidity, right? So other than that, actually, another one of your priorities listed on your website is providing sustainable growth in the digital asset space. So how does Auros ensure sustainable growth, and what do you actually mean by that?
Yeah, good question. The way we think of it is that we think of ourselves as stewards of the token for each project. So when we partner with a project, it's more than just like providing liquidity on screen. We're kind of stewarding the growth of the token alongside the growth of the project itself. We try wherever possible to ensure that, obviously it's difficult, but we try to ensure at least that there's a close correlation between the market price and the success of the project. So if they're kicking goals, then we like to ensure that the token, if it's been designed correctly, the token can kind of fully represent the growth and the value that is being created as hurdles are met, and we want the market to have a reliable and consistent source of liquidity to buy into that growth. So it's really like a stewardship function that we think of it as, just beyond just kind of providing liquidity on the screen. In addition to all of that, we also kind of bring to bear our significant domain expertise across a variety of verticals. Many of the projects we've worked with have needed assistance in a number of areas beyond just liquidity. So things like product design, usability, market fit, UX design, UI design. We've got a lot of skilled people in our firm. As I said, there's 5 people coming from a variety of backgrounds, a lot of them with decades of experience in their various kind of area of expertise. So the team here at Auros can assist partners with a whole variety of things as they're growing, and that's kind of part of the sustainable growth that we talk about, where once we partner with someone, it's a strong partnership that we're really trying to like ensure as best as possible that our partners are successful, and we really want to align ourselves to that success. The last area is probably the relationships we enjoy with incubators, foundations, and labs across the industry. The goal here is that like new and exciting projects have the tools they need to be successful. So in areas where we can't assist, we like to kind of acknowledge the things we can't do, but we want to be able to point projects in the direction of folks that can assist there. Whether it's like access to funding, token liquidity, exchange listing, access to talent, even just like a general sounding board to toss ideas around. We want to be a trusted partner and work with our team and our relationships in the industry to provide invaluable direction and advice for our partners.
Thank you. So obviously we're in a kind of bear market right now. So how has that kind of affected your relationships with these token projects?
We like to zoom out a little bit. So like price is one thing, and like it is important, but like if you zoom out, you kind of, and if you think of these things as like multi-year relationships and multi-year kind of project development, cycles in crypto are pretty short. Say cycles last for quarters as opposed to years or decades. Like within a decade, you're going to have 25 different business cycles in crypto. So yes, the market's poor, although I would say it's probably looking a little more rosy now than it was in May and June. There's some green shoots coming through. It feels like inflation may have peaked in the US. There's certainly a lot to look forward to in terms of growth in the industry with the ETH merge and continued adoption of layer 2s and layer 3s for that matter, some other layer 1s competing with ETH on the smart contract side of things. So there is a lot to be positive about from a kind of broad macro view.
Absolutely. So do you have any tips at all for weathering a bear market?
First, sure. I mean, as a business, we're fairly market neutral. So we kind of thrive off of volatility, and so we've done okay. The conditions haven't been too bad for our business. Obviously people who are naturally long haven't fared so well over the past couple of months. I would say it's helpful to just zoom out a little bit, just like zoom out and think of it on a longer term, from a longer term perspective. Try to ignore the day-to-day and week-to-week gyrations. I know it's easier said than done. I think from an actual trading strategy, this is fairly general advice and fairly well understood, but people probably don't appreciate how important it is. I'd say sizing of positions is the most important thing when one is trading or investing. It's almost always I see people size positions too large, and that can create an awkward situation when positions go against them. Rather than being able to top up at better prices, people kind of get shaken out at what amounts to be the worst possible time. So do your research, understand the thesis that you're investing in, and size your positions conservatively, especially during periods of uncertainty like we're in now. Again, fairly standard, well-trodden path, but it works. So that would probably be my advice.
Amazing, thank you. Also, disclaimer, not financial advice.
Not financial advice, correct.
Can you talk about any particular areas of interest in the market that Auros is currently pursuing?
Yeah, so there's a few. From a strategy perspective, we've got like dozens of different strategies, but more broadly, if I had to say the things that we're looking at from an investments perspective and kind of a partnerships perspective, where we think we can add value. Decentralized derivatives would be one. So options vaults, decentralized order books, power perpetuals, exotic options. That's one area that we've been particularly active in, and we expect to continue to be active in. Decentralized lending, I would have said like 3 or 4 months ago, that was not a focus. But what we saw in the centralized credit space in kind of June in particular, June, July, there's obviously the bankruptcies that are kind of everybody knows about. So Voyager and Celsius, as well as a bunch of others, like some of the larger lending names. A lot of the other larger lending names that are still alive today have pulled back a lot. So just the whole credit space in crypto has changed like remarkably since kind of mid to Q2 this year. So decentralized lending is an area that has kind of sprung up, in particular, like changed in the last couple of months, and that's an area that we're incentivized to pursue because our business, being a high frequency trading firm, we're kind of highly levered, and we rely on high leverage to generate the returns that we do. So that's an area that we've really picked up on in the last couple of months. Stuff like credit worthiness rankings and scores on chain. That's something that we think is going to grow in importance in the coming months and years. Another area is like layer 2 and layer 3 scaling solutions. Naturally, where we come from a high throughput kind of DNA, I guess, as a business. Like we do over 1 million transactions a day. We enter something like 50 to 100 million orders per day. Thus far, that hasn't really worked on a decentralized because of a variety of issues. Centralization works better when you're pushing a lot of data very, very quickly. But there are some ideas, a variety of different angles that people have taken to try to get proper proper order books and throughput on chain. So layer 2 and layer 3 solutions are one of those methods, and we've partnered with a number of folks. A few examples that we're kind of working on right now. Where we're working with Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Stark, like these kind of Ethereum scaling solutions, as well as parachains on Polkadot, subnets on Avalanche, where we're starting to work with Solana as well. So a lot of the ways of scaling order books on chain is a lot of stuff that we're pretty excited about going forward. More holistically, as a firm, we like to give our staff the autonomy to explore kind of anything they feel naturally curious about. So the list of things we're working on at any particular time is fairly dynamic, and it's always growing. So if you ask me these questions again in 2 weeks, it'll probably be a different list.
Yeah, as is crypto, right?
Yeah, right. Short cycles.
Exactly. So just to finish off, what are your goals for Auros for the remainder of 2022?
I'd say it's probably four main goals for the firm for the rest of this year and moving into next year. Number one, continued expansion of our strategic market-making business to help more projects achieve meaningful liquidity and sustainable growth, as we spoke about. It's a lot of momentum in that business. We still think it's a very underserved market. So that's probably one of the primary goals for the firm. Number two, kind of somewhat related to that, continue to invest our capital, both financial capital and human capital, in exciting DeFi projects, especially in those areas we spoke about in derivatives, structured products, low latency execution. Number three, we want to continue hiring talent across all business lines, so engineering, trading, business development, sales. So we're hiring across the whole business. So we want to continue to do that. And lastly, continue to grow our market share in all our algorithmic and high frequency trading business lines. So far this year, we've been able to do that. We want to continue that. That's kind of the core engine of the business, and we feel like we're a market leader there, and we want to continue kind of pushing our advantage across that space. That would be kind of the major 4 things we're looking to do.
Amazing. Well, it seems like you guys are doing well anyway, but I'm still going to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you'd like to try out crypto trading, don't forget to give Globe Exchange a go. And yeah, happy Globe trading. And thank you so much, Ben, for your time. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.